I'm Diane Lassus, and this module will cover the basics of how to pay attention to what you spend and why it's so important. Expenses refer to the money you spend purchasing any kind of goods and services, whether it's a pack of M&Ms at the store down the street or groceries in the grocery store. Understanding expenses is important for budgeting, financial planning, and long-term financial stability. This presentation is going to cover different types of expenses, their significance, and different ways of managing them. There are many different types of expenses, including fixed, variable, discretionary, and unexpected or surprise expenses. So let's talk about fixed expenses. These are expenses that remain relatively constant over time, so they don't go up and down a lot. An example is monthly housing costs like rent or a mortgage payment. Payments for health, auto, home, or life insurance, although these days some of these costs have been increasing pretty significantly on an annual basis. Fixed installment payments for personal, auto, or even student loans. And then monthly or annual fees for memberships, for streaming, or even for software. Variable expenses fluctuate based on usage, consumption, or even personal decisions. Examples include things like groceries, your monthly spending on food and household supplies, which can vary based on what specific supplies you purchase and where you purchase them. Utilities like electricity, water, gas, and internet bills, which may very well vary on a monthly basis. Transportation costs, fuel, public transport, or even ride-sharing expenses. Entertainment and dining out, spending on leisure activities, restaurants, and entertainment, which can sometimes become a pretty high percentage of our budget. Discretionary expenses. These are non-essential spending choices that enhance your lifestyle. Examples include what some would define as luxury purchases, electronics, designer clothing, and travel. Hobbies and recreational expense, costs for leisure activities, going to basketball games is one of my favorite, and personal interests. Gifts and donations, money spent on gifts to other people and on charitable contributions to organizations you may support. And then you have unexpected or surprise expenses. These are unplanned costs that come up suddenly and may impact your financial stability. Examples are like medical emergencies, unexpected healthcare expenses, car repairs. If you're driving back and forth to work, you need a working car. So when something happens to the car, it becomes an emergency expense. Home repairs, if you have appliances break down or something happens that you have to repair. Friend and family emergencies, unexpected need to help others. This certainly happens to many of us. We'll discuss some of these unexpected expenses and emergency funds further in another module, but understanding budgeting and financial planning is important for many reasons. It helps you track your spending habits. It helps you gain a better understanding of your future financial needs, and it helps you understand what you can spend based on your current income. Planning also plays an important role in managing debt, such as credit cards, car loans, and even student loans. You can avoid excessive borrowing by understanding and managing expenses effectively. You can also reduce financial stress and improve your credit scores by managing your expenses effectively. And last but certainly not least, understanding your expenses provides information to manage your savings and investments. You can identify areas where expenses, you may be able to reduce them and save money on the side toward your future investment. You can quantify savings targets based on income versus expenses. If you understand what you're spending and what you're bringing in, and you can identify differences between those two, hopefully on the positive side, then you know how much you can save on an ongoing basis. You can establish a plan for how you allocate savings between your emergency savings or your investment accounts. Next, let's talk about some of the steps you can take to be in control of your finances. Create a monthly expense plan. Categorize and track spending. It doesn't have to be down to the penny, but an overall plan can make sure your spending isn't projected to be more than your income. I use monthly statements because most of your credit card statements and other bills come in monthly. So using them to track where you are can make things a little easier. Prioritize needs over wants. Needs are those things that you have to have for day-to-day life, such as food, shelter, utilities, and transportation. It's basically a focus on essential expenses. You can use financial apps. Tools like Simplify, YNAB, or Pocketsmith can help monitor expenses, but don't forget about more basic things like Excel spreadsheets, which are easy to build and update. Quicken is a good go-to application, but tends to be a little more complicated to maintain. Build an emergency fund. Save for unexpected costs to avoid debt. We have another module dedicated to talking about that because it's a really important area. Review and adjust regularly. Assess and modify spending patterns as needed. And this is hopefully your income is going up. And if your income's going up, then you need to review your spending. Understanding expenses and managing them wisely is important for financial security. By categorizing expenses, creating an expense plan or budget, and using financial tools, you can control and manage your spending. You can reduce debt, and you can begin to build a stable financial future. And don't forget to check out the first 2 chapters in the infographic guide to personal finance. It offers some great ideas.